Time now to get the live snooker started. Over on table 2, Robert Milkins goes up against Mike Dunn in Group 15. That group also features Ian Burns and Tom Ford. As ever, we'll bring you regular updates from table 2 throughout the afternoon as we focus on matters over on table number 1. Chris Wakelin and Michael Giorgio will be in action a little later this afternoon. But first up in Group 10 is Ronnie O'Sullivan taking on the world number 3, Kishan Hirani. Your commentators are Dominic Dale and Phil Yates.
Thanks very much indeed, Jill. What great news about the Tour Championship, and also what great news about Ronnie O'Sullivan being involved here today. There's always a heightened degree of anticipation. It's any tournament he plays in. And today he's got a different look. That massive moustache, the first time we've seen that. In this group, he'll be hoping to avoid any close shaves.
Oh dear, Phil. Does look rather scholarly, doesn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan? There, like you, Phil, I've never seen Ronnie with a moustache. Goodness me. Looks like somebody from the Sergeant Pepper days. Well, Ronnie, of course, has had the opportunity to practice owning his own table. And that's a good start from him, of course. Kishan Hirani. Well, what an honour for him to play the game's greatest ever player. And he'll have his first opportunity here. Just slightly misjudged from Ronnie. Didn't catch the apex red fully. Hence the in-off.
Yes, this really is a David versus Goliath encounter. No previous meetings between these two in professional tournaments, so for Hirani, what an occasion, as you say.
Somebody I know very well, practiced with Kishan many times in the Southwest Snooker Academy in Gloucester. Going to be a bit of an awkward frame, this, because the black's tied up and pink's not too clever at the moment, although Kishan may be bringing it into play here. Yes, I suppose if you're going to play the great man, cameras are on him, of course, from Kishan's point of view, but no big audience in attendance, so maybe not added pressure upon him.
Well, on ITV's Racing earlier today, I heard Ed Chamberlain, who does such an excellent job, musing about the fact that Frankie Dettori, he gets a great buzz from the crowd and being so popular. That's very much the case with Ronnie O'Sullivan as well. The game's biggest box office attraction, so for him to play with no audience, really unusual.
Still a wonderful setup here, though, in Milton Keynes, in spite of that. That's another mistake from Ronnie, just caught the red too thickly there. He's been rather fortunate. The straightest red to far right corner, I don't think will go past the green. And I can't see an easy alternative. Maybe it does just go. Kishan's eyeing it up, but my goodness, he better get it, because he'll be leaving that red to left centre if he doesn't.
Not recommended against anyone, especially O'Sullivan.
I think he had to take it on. I think when you play the game's greatest players, such as, well, we have one in our studio, Stephen Hendry, of course, and Ronnie and players like that, it's pointless going into your shell and trying to sort of play yourself in and create chances with good safety play. You've got to attack the players. Make them know that you're after them and you're willing to sort of mix it with them. Try and outscore them if you can. It's the only way you can beat the top players, put them under pressure. And he won't do that with a lot of safety play.
9.
Tremendous, though, that O'Sullivan has supported this tournament, together with the likes of Judd Trump and Neil Robertson and plenty of other top players as well. A real feather in their collective caps. Of course, Dominic, you know
11.
full well how devastating O'Sullivan in full flow can be. I think one of his most remarkable matches was against you in Northern Ireland that time. Semi-final, you were playing well. It was best of 11 frames, and he beat you inside an hour, 6-0. To win a best of 11 in less than an hour is remarkable.
In 51 minutes, I think, Phil. Yeah, I'll never forget that match. It was extraordinary. I remember the marker for the match, Jan Verhaas, sort of we looked at each other and he sort of shrugged his shoulders, sort of, what can you do? And in my case, pretty much nothing. I did finally get my revenge. After about 9 or 10 meetings with Ronnie, I did finally manage to beat him this season in one of the China events. But it's always a great honour to play the game's greatest players. I always used to think that playing Stephen Hendry and Steve Davis.
19.
And I do never play Ronnie. I love playing the game's greatest players just to
20.
pit my wits against them and do what I can and just see how good I am.
Helped here by the fact that the brown is off its spot.
25.
Yes, black's available into the left-hand corner, maybe the pink too. But that little shelf of 4 reds, it's getting there. Quite difficult, so concentrating on the blue for now.
26.
Yes, those 3 reds in the line there. It's the red just below them that Ronnie would like to get on, because if he can, that ball position would be easy then. Managed to stun him behind them though, so no problem. I think I prefer to get rid of that pink. Is he too straight on it? Probably.
$39. 40.
He really is such a beautifully fluent cueist, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
48.
Just such an easy player to watch. It hasn't taken him too long to master this 53 break that he's currently on.
54.
Just a slight misjudgment there. Wanted to stun through a little more. It means an extra degree of difficulty on this red, which is still only mid-range.
59. 60.
Well, the red was frame ball. The black makes absolutely sure.
67.
The man with the moustache looking good.
Yes, wonder if he's straight enough on this red to screw into the other one near the pocket and develop it. Just wasn't quite.
68.
So the work really begins here if he's going to make a century break in the first frame. Maybe that red will just drop in. Very cute angle, but played at dead weight.
73.
Should be able to pot it.
74. 79. 80.
It's amazing he potted that red down the cushion left-handed. You can hardly tell when he switches hands. He's just so proficient. His degree of ambidexterity is just
85.
stunning.
$87. 90. 94.
What a reintroduction. Hasn't played since the shootout in February. You would never guess.
99. 105.
At a time in our lives when so much has changed, there's one constant at least. Ronnie O'Sullivan remains a genius. What a start. Typical Rocket. He leads 1-0. There really is nothing to compare with Ronnie O'Sullivan. Out of competitive snooker for
Second frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
pretty much 4 months. First frame back, seamless. He's now made 1,046 century breaks in professional competition. I remember when it was a badge of honour for the players who'd made 100 centuries in competition. Now he's well over 1,000.
Yes, he's amassed over £11 million in prize money during his career. It's quite extraordinary. Not a bad way to earn a living. It's often forgotten what a brilliant tactical player Ronnie O'Sullivan is. He's as good as anybody in that department of the game, along with players such as John Higgins, also regarded as one of the game's greatest tactical players. There's that. Look at that shot that Ronnie's played. That's exactly what Stephen Hendry used to do to you. Keishan obviously is trying to keep things tight and earn his opportunities, but Stephen and of course Ronnie there has just played a thick safety, opened up the reds and taken Keishan right out of his comfort zone immediately and put pressure on him. Now would he take this pot on, Keishan? I didn't think he would, but made a pretty good job of the safety shot, but the problem is the cue ball's out of bulk, and well, there may be a long straightish red on here for Ronnie into the left corner.
One.
Well, that's a telltale sign he's queuing well. The pot in itself, that's straight queuing. The screw back, well-timed queuing.
Absolutely, Phil, and this isn't the most responsive cloth either. Although I think they recovered them overnight. Is that right, Phil?
They did indeed.
Just a little pacey, but I think the red still pots the left corner.
Seven.
O'Sullivan walks around the table and the blue is respotted. Let me tell you quickly that Rob Milkins took the first frame on the other table from Mike Dunn. Well, he was stretching there, off balance, and that's the result.
Hirani 4.
Off balance, out of kilter.
Yes, and enough means that Hirani has a simple startup. And this is what I was saying earlier, you have to score against these great players. And this is Kishan's opportunity to do just that.
1.
Won't help but the fact that the black's a little bit tied up, but it may be available into the left corner. More angle on the blue than he probably intended to have. He'll play a cannon here into the pink and 3 reds. How's his luck? Hasn't had any, I'm afraid.
6.
Just didn't quite cannon the pink fully enough. That's why the cue ball's just drifted across to this left-hand corner pocket here. There is a red available into the right centre, but of course he's hampered by the red behind the cue ball, so just a safety now.
Hirani 6.
Came through the Q school a couple of years ago, Kishan Hirani. He's been some useful players since then. Fergal O'Brien, David Lilly, Sam Bird, Andrew Higginson, but yet to claim a really notable scalp. I think the closest he came to that was losing 4-3 to Mark Williams in the first round of the Welsh Open last season.
And you can see from Kishan's demeanour and his style of play, he's technically very good. He's got a nice cue action. Just a little unfortunate there to find the corner pocket with the cue ball. But you don't get much time, do you, to settle down against Ronnie O'Sullivan. That was another lovely long pot from Ronnie. May have just grazed the pink there, which has probably helped him get decent position on the blue.
O'Sullivan 1.
Well, it needed to be delicate, but that was a surprising miss for me. Stayed down on the shot. That suggested he thought he might have overcut it, and that was indeed the case. You make a very valid point, though, Dom. He has to score. You can't win in bits and pieces against O'Sullivan. Now, the cue ball wasn't comfortably close to the side cushion, but normally, that's no sweat. Not for him.
You've got to enjoy playing somebody like Ronnie O'Sullivan. You shouldn't expect to beat them, but you should expect to just enjoy the occasion and do your best. And if Keeshan does that, he'll have half a chance if he keeps getting opportunities like this.
8.
Just needs a good break here, Keeshan, just to settle him down. And if he could make a sort of 50 break from here, his confidence could skyrocket. Not saying it'll do him any good in the long run, but it'll help him enjoy the occasion more anyway. Just got to work out here which red to play and when, so that he can develop the black spot area a little bit and make break building as easy as possible. May play for the pink here into the right centre pocket from his next red.
14. Fifteen. Kishan Hirani 15.
Well, I was just about to say, considering where the blue and the black are, the pink is Kishan Hirani's best friend at the moment, but no, it could be his worst enemy.
One.
It's a self-evident truth, but you just can't miss balls like that against O'Sullivan.
Seven. 8. 14. 15. 21.
And the left-handed pot to the corner pocket for Ronnie. He'll stun across for the pink. Well, the black still pops
22.
in that left corner. Must go between those two reds. That's handy for Ronnie. But would have liked to have been a little bit straighter on it. This is definitely missable even for him. So decides to play the pink instead. Effortless, wasn't it?
28. 29.
So many people have missed Snooker. So many people have missed O'Sullivan.
$36. 37.
So just this black and one more red required. 2-0 lead. Dead straight on this red, so I don't think he'd be doing anything
44.
particularly extravagant with this.
45. 52. 52.
So a century in the first frame, a half century in the second. O'Sullivan 44 points ahead, 35 on, so 3 snookers needed by Hirani. Or of course, 1 snooker and a free ball. Can't blame Hirani for carrying on. Strange things happen. But O'Sullivan is so adept at escaping snookers. It's highly unlikely the outsider's going to get back into this frame.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Phil. Any snooker that Kishan Hirani manages to make will have to be a very, very good one to force a mistake from Ronnie O'Sullivan. At first glance, this doesn't look a particularly quick cloth.
No, but I get the feeling after the first couple of frames it might be a particularly quick match.
Yes, of course, if Ronnie does go on to win this frame, to go 2-0 ahead, he'll just need the 3rd frame to win the match. They won't bother with the 4th then.
Yes, next up, after this, here on table 1, it's the other 2 players in this group, Chris Wakelin and, from Cyprus, former shootout champion, Michael Georgiou.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4 frame conceded.
4 snookers now needed, so the frame is conceded. Ronnie O'Sullivan with a break of 112 in the first frame, 52 the cornerstone in the second. He leads Kishan Hirani by 2 frames to 0. The week began with a rocket launch at Cape Canaveral. I think this group is seeing a rocket launch as well. A couple of very fine breaks from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Not breaking sweat right now. 2-0 ahead, 1 more frame required to put his first win in this group on the board. The best Hirani can do now is to win the closing 2 frames and get a draw. But you take long odds on that.
Yes, although Kishan Hirani's had a better season than he did last season, he's still ranked at number 93 in the world. Best he's ever been is 87. Oh, that should give him some confidence. That was a super shot from Kishan. Nicely on the black. Can play a cannon into the back of the pack there to hold for the red to right corner. Played it nicely.
9.
The referee, Tatiana Wollaston, declared a touching ball there, but it didn't matter because Hirani was playing away to pot the red anyway. But if he's played for the Reds on the left-hand side of the table, that's well short of where he wanted to be. I can only assume he must have just dug into the cue ball a little.
Yes, he's maybe as much as 18 inches short of pace there. So it's not the quickest table I've ever seen. It doesn't seem to be anyway. What's he playing here? Plant? Oh, a very thin cut to left centre. Well, it's a good effort, but my goodness, he put all his eggs in one basket there, didn't he? And just look at the damage he's done potentially here. Open everything up for Ronnie. Just needs one good positional shot here. Not the best angle on the red. Oh, where's his cue ball? Oh my word.
What?
How can he get through to the pink? I think he can.
Horrible little shot though, isn't it? Just don't know where to place your hand. Whatever you do, you feel restricted. Well, in the previous frame he overcut a blue, not dissimilar to that. Maybe over-adjusted and almost undercut that one.
7. Eight.
One is screwing back with effortless ease. He must have a
15.
really nice soft tip on his cue there.
16.
Of course, it's not clear to me how much Ron has been practicing, or Kishan Hirani for that matter, really. In most of the groups, I think with the possible exception of Gary Wilson yesterday, who played tremendously well, made 4 centuries,
22.
winning all 3 of his group matches. Most of the players seem to be a little out of form, as of course could be
23.
expected.
Yes, I think Liang Wenbo also good yesterday. 3 centuries and 3 wins out of 3. 2 straight on the black for O'Sullivan here, so having to do more with the cue ball than he wanted to. But everything is okay.
30.
Yes, Liang Wenbo played tremendously well in that last match against Mark Selby.
31.
He also looked very, very good.
Thirty-seven. 38. 44. 45.
Well, given the natural angle there, I think he might well have played for the green and just slightly overdone it. But it's only a very minor criticism. Bear in mind, lengthy
49.
times away from competitive snooker for O'Sullivan don't seem to matter. This is the man who played one insignificant contest all season and then turned up and won the World Championship.
Another 50 break from Ronnie O'Sullivan, lead of 41 points.
58.
Drawing ever closer to the winning post again, and victory in this match by 3-0 in no time at all. More but wanted that cue was a run past that red to leave it to the right corner. May still be able to pot this into the green pocket.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 65.
So the break ends at 65, 49 points the difference, 4 reds remain, so 59 on the table. Just a glimmer of hope for Kishan Hirani. I'm not making excuses for O'Sullivan there with that poor positional shot, but I think he had a kick, you know. It sounded quite a dull contact. A kick on the black, that is.
He seems tempted by this red to the far right corner, Ronnie. He'll take it on though. I'm not too sure. Though he is very close to the winning post in this match. Sometimes players like to take a shot on like this because it's a good test of your cueing. As long as you don't feel that you're going to lose the frame by taking it on. But Ronnie, cleverly there, just put that red to the side cushion, limiting Kishan's options here by playing the cubal in behind the yellow. For me, Kishan's got to take one of these reds on here. 2-0 down at the point of no return.
Talking about being 2-0 down, that's also the case for Mike Dunn. Robert Milkins has just doubled his advantage over on table 2. Then that was some distance away. Good table for a counter-attack for Hirani. Couldn't wish for much better, really.
One.
That was well played, just bringing the blue into the centre of the table. Will probably be the colour he chooses here to play as well. Got to win this frame from here if you can.
The red closest to the right-hand side cushion as we're looking is the obvious problem.
6.
Other than that, they are sitting pretty.
Now if he can leave himself nice and straight on the red to right centre after this blue, just to leave the cubal somewhere where that red is, he should be able to screw right in behind that tricky red near the side cushion. That's pretty good. Now if he can leave an angle just to screw in behind that red, as I say, probably leave it on to the left centre, all of a sudden he'll be in the box seat. He's looking long and hard at this. Maybe he's not quite straight enough on it.
13.
It's played for the blue. Not going to be quite so easy now to get nice position on this remaining red. Oh, he's caught the pink. Well, as you can see, it's pretty much dead straight to the green pocket. Will he take it on? Surely he's got to. 31 points behind, so he can play for the blue off it. Problem is with this type of shot, it's one that if you do miss it, you're only going to miss it by a fraction, so you could leave it on if it doesn't go in.
Kishan Hirani, 18.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a valiant effort. It really was close.
Hedged his bets too much for me, though. Look at the power and pace he played it at.
Leading off. Oh, that would have been costly.
Well, this red's quite easy to hit. There's a lot of side spin off this top cushion, but the problem is you can't hit the red full ball enough playing it that way to shunt it back up towards bulk. So this could easily go wrong. And I think it has.
Good call, Dominic. Could have been worse for Hirani. A fuller kiss on the red second time around would have left it on as a certainty. That had to be potted, but now it is. O'Sullivan is basically over the line. Despite the growth on his face, he's not won this
8.
by a whisker, he's won it by distance.
10. 13.
Just trying to think of other world champions with moustaches. John Spencer for a while, Cliff Thornton.
17.
O'Sullivan detained for just
22.
41 minutes.
Frame in a match.
A stroll in the park. Ronnie O'Sullivan just going to shake Kishan Hirani's hand and then thinking better of it, obviously, the right thing to do. He did pretty much the right thing all the way through the contest. Breaks of 112, 52 and 65. Ronnie O'Sullivan breezes to a 3-0 victory.